Top 5 shaders for MCPE 1.18. Starting off with the Fuse Vanilla shader. This shader is well known for being incredibly simplistic and having brighter lighting and way more darker defined shadows. And also, the colors of the shader are not made to be excessively saturated, but it still does look amazing. In terms of the water is basically like the vanilla Minecraft, but that was made intentionally in order to reduce lag and for this shader to run on basically any device. If we go underwater, here's how things do look like. They look pretty cool if you ask me. We are able to see things pretty clearly like the vanilla Minecraft. And here's how the sunset of the shader does look like. It looks absolutely beautiful. We have so many different shades of purple, orange, all that good stuff. And you can see the light from the sunset actually being like reflected on the trees in the background and all that. Next up, we have the Kamii shader. The Kamii shader is unique because it is actually inspired by multiple Java Edition shaders. It is incredibly realistic. Starting off with the water, I gotta say the water is so realistic. Take a look at look how realistic the water animation does look like. But if we go underwater, here's how things do look like. We actually do have a slight distortion effect, you know, just to make things look a little bit more realistic, and it definitely does look amazing. Now, once again, this shader is well known for having brighter lighting and darker defined shadows. You will notice that this shader actually does add a bit more contrast to all of the colors over here, so if you do like that, then this shader will definitely be for you. It actually comes with realistic looking clouds over here, and we also do have an incredibly realistic sun right over there. Great addition to the shader. Here's how the sunset does look like in this shader. It looks absolutely stunning over here. We have a big and realistic looking sun right over there, and also we have so many different shades of yellow, orange along that realistic cloud. Next up, we have the fog shader. The fog shader is actually made to be incredibly simple. For the most part, we get lots of vanilla textures. As the name indicates, this shader really is highlighted in the fogginess effect. So as you can tell, we are currently in the survival world and we are able to see so much fog over here, which does look pretty realistic, and that is definitely really cool. This can definitely give you spooky vibes if you use it in the proper world. And here's how the water does look like. The water is made to be much more smoother and actually way more transparent, so you can see right through it. If we go underwater, here's how things do look like. We do get a distortion effect, and things do look pretty amazing underwater as well, which is definitely good to know. Now, what's really unique about this shader is that we actually only really get darker shadows. We don't really get brighter lighting or anything like that. And here's how the sky does look like. For starters, we have realistic looking clouds over there, and we also have a realistic cubicle looking sunset over here. It definitely is unique, so I'm glad they actually did go with that. Here's how the sunset does look like in this shader over here. It definitely does look very unique, and we have so many different shades of orange and even a little bit of purple sprinkled around. Next up, we have the bunch shader. The bunch shader is so amazing. For starters, we get brighter lighting and darker defined shadows, but also we do get more saturation to the colors over here. However, it is not made to the point where it's excessive or anything like that, so this is definitely like a perfect hybrid between both. It really does get the best of both worlds, and I love the way the water looks like. The water actually does have a reflection of the cloud over there, which is super duper amazing and realistic. And best of all, we're not even lagging that much, even though we're near all of this crazy looking water over here. You will also notice that we actually do get a reflection of the sun on the water over there, which is definitely another major highlight about this shader. And also, if we get closer to the water, you'll notice that it has a incredibly realistic water animation over here. And if you were to go underwater, here's how things do look like. So we get a crazy looking distortion effect that we do get whenever we go underwater, obviously, you know, just to make this shader appear a bit more realistic. Here's how the sunset does look like in this shader. It looks absolutely phenomenal. We are able to see the realistic sunset over there, and also all of the different and unique colors. We have like pinkish and purplish colors over there along with orange and all that, and also you are able to see the reflection of the sunset on the water over here. Like, you're able to see all the different colors being reflected on the water, which is definitely another major highlight. Number 1, the experimental shadow shader. This shader basically adds a replica of RTX to MCPE. I had to include it in this video because a couple months ago it was actually made to be free, meaning that all of you guys can download it. So for starters, look how realistic everything does look like. As you can tell, there is realistic lighting that is emitted from each of these blocks, and it's being reflected on the white block in the middle. And behind us, we get this really cool wall over here that displays both the colors, the red and the blue over there, kind of like mixing it together and all of that. And it definitely does look very realistic and a good replica of RTX. Now keep in mind that this is like not officially RTX, obviously. So if we do move out of that, you know, one block, the effect is basically ruined, but it's still pretty cool how we do have RTX on mobile right over here. And as you can tell, we can even see the lighting being reflected on these blocks over here. See you later, French fries.